Welcome. It's Facts You Don't Know. If it's your first time here and you want to find out new facts that will definitely make you smarter and more, and first make sure to subscribe and activate the notification bell so you don't miss anything.
She gave the light, and half an hour after the doctors took her son due. Sean and Caroline Savage, the Ohio couple who returned their baby to their biological parents after an accidental embryo switch, today announced they are expectant twins. "We are excited and scared and feel so blessed," say the couple in a prepared statement. Since Logan's birth in 2009, the Savages have been working with a mother, Jennifer, to conceive. The little guy, now 19 months old, is Shannon and Paul Morrell's biological son. Since an unidentified fertility doctor misunderstood their records and inserted the Morrell's embryo in Caroline Savage's uterus. Both peers have written books about their harrowing experience. For 9 months, she bore the fetus, then handed over the infant to his biological parent. "When we brought Logan into this world, we came to realize that his life has been a blessing," wrote the Savages. "We are humbled once more when one very special woman gives us this same family gift. Jennifer, our career, our companion and guardian angel, has become part of our family. We are overwhelmed at her kindness, and our gratitude is beyond measure." Last year, the Savages had tried surrogacy for another child, but Jennifer miscarried. She's pregnant with twins, now at 19 weeks. The Savages have claimed they didn't know the baby's sex. "We were so humbled by every good wish and blessing we got from real friends like you," they wrote. "When shock and heartbreak came, you comforted us. You squeezed our hands in solidarity when we began to lose hope of growing our family and told us not to lose trust." In their 2011 book, Inconceivable, the couple tells their heart-rending story. Just 4 days after finding out she was pregnant, Caroline Savage went to the unfathomable law of realizing the baby was not hers to hide from the high hope of the child she had worked so hard to conceive. Caroline Savage had a history of miscarriages turned into in vitro fertilization with her and Sean. They had 3 other kids already and were hoping for a 4th. But on February 16, 2009, the couple from Sylvania, Ohio, learned that another couple's frozen embryo had been wrongly transferred into Caroline's womb. The Savages could have been fighting for custody, or Caroline might have had an abortion. Tied to a strong Catholic faith, Caroline decided to carry to term the baby she and Sean called Little Man. The Savages have had a long, painful, somewhat ambiguous journey in the months since Logan's birth. "We have 3 children, or do we have 4? It's a curious question, but the kind that parents who have lost a child ask themselves from time to time. The missing child is still with you, unless you feel as depressed for a few days and a sigh of pain on other days. It was a child that I nurtured, and we both protected against the forces conspiring against its survival," writes Caroline, now 41, in the book's prologue. "However, I understand that I can never hold him in my arms again, and that the next time I see him, he will think of me as a stranger." The 2 couples maintained a friendly relationship during the 36 weeks Caroline was carrying Little Man. The Morrells outlined their own harrowing weight in their 2010 novel, Misconception, recognizing that with Caroline's previous history of miscarriages, their child may never be born. During an interview with ABCnews.com, the Savages said that even though they viewed returning Logan to his biological parents as a gift. The medical mistake had ripped their lives apart. Their marriage was under considerable strain, and Caroline was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder following birth, both seeking therapy. They were in an odd position. There was no death to their son, but he was gone. "It's a loss that has no resolution," said Pauline Bose, University of Minnesota professor emeritus, who described the uncertainty in her book, Ambiguous Loss. "People have a hard time overcoming this," she told abcnews.com. "For them, there are no routines or sympathy cards. He's just going to be my boy, even though he's their son," Caroline said. "There was no way to get into parenting and take a 12-cell embryo and turn it into a human being and not have a maternal attachment to him. Mixed-up embryo would happen." The embryo mix-up occurred at a fertility clinic that a court settlement forbids calling the Savages, but the agreement in May 2010 allowed them to clarify what went wrong in writing. A laboratory employee who stored the frozen embryos had labeled Caroline's birth year at 3/19/1967 rather than 3/19/1969, a detail that helped to identify the possible error. Embryos are labeled alphabetically, and when the clinic opened the S register, an information sheet for Shannon Savage was wrongly put. Now Shannon Savage Morrill, who used her birth name at the time of the first IVF treatment. From that point on, embryos from the Morrills were labeled and associated with Savage's paperwork, and their sheet was tucked in the file's back. Oddly, Caroline noticed the wrong date of birth on the day of the transfer when the nurse was attaching her wrist bracelet. "It had my name, the name of Cian, the name of my social security, and the name of Cian, and my birth date," she said. I said, "Wait a minute, that's not my birthday," and made a joke. "I'm not even 40. The nurse took a ballpoint pen and turned a 7 to a 9. 9 days later, a data entry person filling the paperwork asked about the conflicting year of birth and riffled through the file, finding the embryo information sheet in the back of the Morrills. Until then, 5 days after the embryo was implanted, nobody, not even a doctor, had reviewed the labels and the information sheets. The Savages did not tell anyone except their lawyer, their priest, and a counselor within the first few weeks after learning of the mistakenly implanted embryo. "We made the choices quickly," Cian said. "We also knew we were embarking on a very different journey, but we never stopped going in that direction because we thought it was right, but we hadn't fully understood what the pitfalls were." Their story came not long after the shutdown of an in vitro fertilization center at Ochsner Hospital in Elmwood, Los Angeles, triggered by a possible mix-up in the labeling of frozen embryos. 6 weeks into pregnancy, Caroline developed a clot in her uterus that might have threatened the fetus, and the Savages provided weekly updates to the Morrills. "We kept assuring them that we would not terminate and would never fight for custody," Caroline said, "but Cian and I were tapped emotionally. They've had 2 visits so far with Logan, who is now 19 months old. The Savages have no formal agreement with the Morrills on future visits, or whether Logan would ever know the truth about his birth. His mom and dad will decide what's best for him," Cian said. IVF safety protocols. The Savages said that with their 3 children, they had to start their lives again. Drew, now 16, Ryan, 13, and Mary Kate, 2. Even though they have been supported by their church and friends. Sometimes the simplest things throw the savages off guard. It was like the elephant in the living room, Caroline said. People were so scared that they were doing the wrong thing. Any time a difficult situation or loss happens, people do not know what to do. I'm definitely getting it. As part of the deal, the facility had to include written guarantees that new procedures would be drawn up. The savages encouraged those seeking IVF to talk to doctors about how their embryos are handled in their book. We had the luck of coming out on the other side of this, Caroline said. No mistake. What happened? The clinic error, pregnancy, and Logan's loss. We're going to have to live with this for the rest of our lives. We'll get better at weaving it into the fabric of our lives as time goes on. It was an unfair, cruel position to bring in, Cian said. I don't want anyone to believe it's a convenient walking path. But still, we got it through and our decision was basically good.
Thanks for watching. Please like and share the video in social networks. We'll be right back to you as fast as we can.